There's no such thing as normal.
It was at the peak of Tom Cruise, like, I mean, I use the word mania in a very literal sense, I think, in this situation.
Now today it's take drugs. They actually wanted to put me on drugs. My mother wouldn't let them.
I've never seen you like that! I've never seen that! I know. We've never seen you behave this way before.
I know.
Have you ever felt this way before?
I'm just telling you right now, okay? Just put your manners back in.
Tom Cruise, the name alone commands attention. A megastar of Hollywood, he has been at the top of his game for over 3 decades.
What? Ethan, what just happened?
He was bumped.
Bumped?
What do you mean, bumped?
That woman picked his pocket. Tag her.
His films have grossed billions, and his name is synonymous with action, intensity, and box office success. However, beneath the polished exterior of the Mission Impossible franchise and Top Gun revival, there is another side to Cruise, a side marked by controversy, conflicts, and clashes. The actor's relationships with fellow actors, directors, and industry insiders are rarely straightforward. From publicly bashing the use of antidepressants to engaging in heated exchanges with colleagues on set, Cruise's career has often been as turbulent as the high-speed chases and explosions in his movies.
How's it going? Don't. Show me.
One of the most significant factors in the actor's turbulent relationships is his staunch belief in Scientology.
There's actually this picture book about suppression, and social and antisocial personalities. And I was like, what is this? This is Scientology. I said, oh, I'm very interested. And that's when I became a Scientologist.
Cruise has long been an advocate of the religion, a commitment that has often put him at odds with Hollywood's more liberal-minded circle. His outspoken views on psychiatry and mental health treatment, especially in relation to antidepressants, have caused rifts with many in the industry. Take, for example, his infamous clash with actress Brooke Shields in 2005. In a particularly fiery interview with The Today Show, Cruise made headlines when he accused Shields of being irresponsible for using medication to treat her postpartum depression. "You don't know the history of psychiatry. I do," he said with a condescending tone that clearly ruffled Shields. "I've studied it for years. I'm a Scientologist, and I believe in taking a natural approach to life."
I've never agreed with psychiatry, ever. Before I was a Scientologist, I never agreed with psychiatry. And then when I started studying the history of psychiatry, I started realizing more and more why I didn't agree with psychiatry.
Shields, a passionate advocate for mental health, hit back fiercely, saying, "I've had to deal with a lot of public comments about my depression, and I've spent a lot of time fighting it. For Tom Cruise to tell me that I should be doing it differently, it was very hurtful." Cruise's comments on mental health were not isolated incidents, but part of a broader agenda to promote Scientology's stance on psychiatry, which has long been controversial. He even attempted to convince others in the film industry to share his views. But it wasn't just Shields who was caught in Cruise's crossfire. Thandie Newton also felt the strain of his firm views during the production of Mission Impossible 2.
Having fun?
Later described the shoot as a nightmare due to Cruise's overpowering personality. In her 2016 interview, Newton recounted how she was subjected to hours of criticism and advice from Cruise as though he were both co-star and mentor. "He would just dominate the whole thing," Newton admitted. "I was completely out of my depth. Tom didn't let me do anything unless he had approved it first." She wasn't the only one who felt intimidated. "It was so intense. He's a very powerful person in this industry. His presence can be overwhelming," Newton said, hinting that Cruise's behavior sometimes bordered on bullying. Despite these revelations, Newton did later acknowledge that Cruise was under pressure and that the experience had an impact on her performance, pushing her to be better. While Cruise's interactions with co-stars have often made the headlines, his relationships with directors have also seen their fair share of tension. One notable example is his work with Steven Spielberg, one of Hollywood's greatest auteurs. Despite their long history of collaborating on the massively successful War of the Worlds,
Rachel! 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 Rachel!
Cruise and Spielberg's professional bond began to show cracks over the years, particularly in the wake of the actor's public Scientology advocacy. Cruise's relationship with Spielberg reached a low point in 2005 when he reportedly pressured the media conglomerate Viacom, which owned both Paramount Pictures, the studio behind the Mission Impossible franchise, and Comedy Central, home of the irreverent TV series South Park, to censor an episode mocking Scientology. The episode, titled Trapped in the Closet, lampooned the Church of Scientology and Cruise's involvement with it. Cruise, predictably, did not take kindly to being the subject of ridicule. Reports suggest that the actor tried to have the episode pulled from airing, believing that it would harm his public image. Spielberg, on the other hand, took a more cautious approach, seeking to maintain a balance between supporting his friend and respecting the boundaries of the broader entertainment industry. "It wasn't easy to navigate," said a source close to the director. He knew Tom was upset, but Steven also understood the larger picture. South Park was an institution, and they were never going to back down. The incident marked a definitive turning point in their relationship. While they continued to collaborate, the bond between the two men seemed more strained than before. Spielberg's measured silence, while diplomatic, suggested that even the greatest directors of Hollywood were not immune to Cruise's pressures. For an actor who thrives on roles of intensity, drama, and conflict, it's no surprise that Tom Cruise's professional relationships have sometimes soured. But one of his most interesting fallouts occurred on the set of Interview with the Vampire.
It's good stuff.
I would have been happy to join them.
Good stuff. I assume I need no introduction.
A film where Cruise portrayed the brooding vampire Lestat. At the time, the project was one of the most anticipated of the decade, and it offered Cruise an opportunity to stretch his acting muscles in ways that few could have predicted. However, the relationship between the actor and director Neil Jordan was rocky at best. The project's problems were well documented, with Jordan and Cruise at odds over the direction of the film. The actor's commitment to Scientology and his desire for creative control over his role in the film allegedly led to significant tension on set. But the fallout didn't stop there. According to Jordan, Cruise's behavior soured future plans for a sequel. "We had a script for The Vampire Lestat ready to go, but Tom didn't want to do it," Jordan revealed in an interview. He was difficult to work with, and the studio just couldn't move forward with him in that frame of mind. Cruise's reticence about reprising his role was a disappointment, particularly for fans of the original film who were eager to see more of Lestat's adventures. While Jordan expressed disappointment in Cruise's decision, he acknowledged that the actor had been instrumental in making the first film a success. "He was a powerful force," Jordan said, "but sometimes that power works against the project rather than for it." The on-screen pairing of Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt in Interview with the Vampire could have been an actor's dream.
Claudia, don't.
Why not? Can't I change like everybody else?
But behind the scenes, the two were reportedly not the best of friends. Despite the fact that both men had the same goal, creating an iconic film, their personalities often clashed. According to several reports, Cruise and Pitt's relationship on set was tense, with the two stars engaging in what appeared to be a silent competition. "Brad is a more relaxed, private person," said one source. "Tom, on the other hand, is constantly on the go, always talking, always trying to make everything bigger." The two of them had different ways of approaching the work, and that led to friction. Pitt's aloofness contrasted sharply with Cruise's all-consuming intensity, and while both actors reportedly maintained professionalism throughout the film's production, the unspoken tension was palpable. Over the years, there have been numerous reports suggesting that the rivalry between the two actors continued long after filming wrapped. However, both men have denied any animosity, with Cruise stating that he respected Pitt's acting abilities, while Pitt has been more reserved, choosing not to delve deeply into the nature of their relationship. Tom Cruise's career has been built on an image of control, precision, and intensity.
Let's see what kind of put pocket you are.
You expect me to put it back?
Oh, I know you will. You're a thief. You want the money.
His ability to command the screen has earned him global recognition, and his dedication to his craft is unquestioned. But beneath the aura of the action hero lies a more complicated figure, one who has often clashed with colleagues, directors, and industry norms. Whether it's his fervent belief in Scientology, his need for creative dominance, or his unapologetic approach to the craft of acting, Cruise has never been one to shy away from controversy. While many have fallen in line behind him, others have resisted. The relationships that Cruise has fostered with those in his orbit are complex and multifaceted, shaped by personal beliefs, professional rivalries, and a drive to push the boundaries of what it means to be a star. Despite the clashes and controversies, one thing remains clear: Tom Cruise's place in Hollywood is secure, and no amount of on-set drama or public spats is likely to change that.